So hi everybody and welcome back. Here, this is another, I call them, like when they open the cartoon of the models and so on. This is the unboxing of the last Formula One collection 124 scale. Is the Alfa Romeo 177 driven by Bruno Giacomelli in 1978. Let's see what's inside. As usual, you can find a quite pretty book, perfect for the toilet, as I used to say. And decide to go on cutting the way which she shows the big plastic. They wrap that model in this heavy plastic, probably because it had to survive to all the messy traveling this box out from Bangladesh to Italy. And here it is, the model. So, well, the car is not one of the nicest Formula One we have seen. Honestly, it's one of the more ugly, with this strange front. I remember when this car, believe it or not, I was already around and already looking cars. I had a granddad that was a car mechanic, for cars and trucks. There you know where the sickness is coming from. And I remember that he had a huge poster of this Alfa Romeo inside his garage. And because it were the years where also Alfa Romeo could have, it was the years, late 70s, where also they had Niki Lauda driving for them. The Martini car, it was the Brabham Alfa Romeo, so it was not really the real Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo made excellent V12 engine. In this car they were completely covered, we were going in the direction of the ground effect, like Lotus and so on, you see. What they were called in Italian the minigonne, the side skirts, mini skirts. And so all the car was a kind of big wing where they try to invent new stuff to optimize the effect, the ground effect, performance, that you can have from this vehicle. And also the front end, you see, was quite big, probably to try to create a kind of deportance. I don't know if the English terms of what I'm trying to explain it is the same one, but I think you understand what do I mean. The model it's indeed very well done, and as usual the point that I don't like is the seat belt, already printed and molded together with the seat. Look how tiny was the position for the driver and so on. And also the steering wheel was absolutely very little. I remember a lot of pictures of the real car, but I didn't like it at all, mostly because she didn't had was a kid. I was liking everything that was in red, and this was also red, despite it was a little different tone of red. This was much darker, much going into purple color than the real Ferrari red, but it was anyway red. So for a kid, the car in red, it was a race car, absolutely. And the wheels are really well done. Tampo de color over, Goodyear Eagle. No, still not the Eagle, real Goodyear, still not really. The Eagle arrived later. And the rim is absolutely well done. Also, just the idea to keep this model as a donor part for the wheels and the rims can be a very good idea. I'm planning to, if I can find another one, to make another Formula One of the 126 C2 from Gilles Villeneuve and Didier Pironi. And I was planning to build another one in the same level as I did my first one, fully open. But had honestly the tricky part of the tires that were completely wrapped and destroyed. Ugly production of Protar of the 80s, And indeed, in these models, they are absolutely well done. So something like that you can absolutely reuse also for the Ferrari. At least for the rear one, I'm sure. For the rear, from the front one, I think they were different. They were something like that as a rim and not like that for the Ferrari. But the model is indeed absolutely very nice, very particular, and it was anyway an Italian car. driven by Bruno Giacomelli, called the same Jack O'Malley. That sounds so stupid, you know, when he made the name. Because the chronist, you know, was calling him in such way. You know, the car is indeed very, very simple. You don't see so much of the mechanical part. There is no engine. I think neither. If you try to spot it from inside, you cannot see the 12 boxer provided by Alfa Romeo. But the car was indeed this one, so I could not miss it. As I always say, this is anyway a model that cost 24 euros, 25 euros, 24.99. So it's absolutely a must to have, and plus it sorry, plus it's an alpha, so it's something that we absolutely have to collect. You know, the detail is absolutely honest for the level of the model, and the building in this specific model is absolutely great. It's really precise. There is no mistakes or imprecise stuff like it was in the Benetton B119 that I just made a reissue before. And yeah, there is some little spot on the paint, but it's nothing absolutely serious. So the car looks absolutely perfect, I think, in the blister and so on. You know, worth absolutely to be collected as it is. You know, as it is, for the scale, for everything and so on. So this is absolutely another must to have. You know, and the book himself is made providing, you know, it's what I call the perfect reading for the toilet moment. You know, so look, Bruno in 79 FIFA. Terrible, really, you know. The next one will be this one. Also for this one I will make anyway a review, because surely I will take a Williams. You know, I love the Williams of this year's. You know, the look was absolutely nice. It was, I think, the Bin Laden, Al Bin Laden, it was the sponsor provided by Osama Bin Laden family. You know, and we know what happened later, so it's interesting to have this one also in the collection. Also here you see, as you probably can see, the motor is covered. You know, this Formula 1 from the 80s were nearly completely covered. Were not like the one in the 70s where you can see the V8 Cosmo or the V12, so you have the mechanic and all the gear visible. You know, instead here you cannot. This was the car. I remember this was the poster I was talking before. You know, and this is a flashback of back in time. Lammers, number 17. I remember that one with all that strange tiger over, you know, so 70s, this stuff. See, this is the T4, T5 maybe, T4, this one, T4, 79, yes, T4. A lot of picture of the period, you know, with the history, you know, and very, very nice trivia information over. They are perfect, you know. This was Piquet. I remember also this one, you know. I think they made also the model of this. I don't have it in the collection still. I will search for it. Probably paying something extra, something more, but I don't care, you know. They are so cool, so I would love to have it. And Bruno, actually one of the guys back in the picture, Franco, should be, I think from the picture can be one or this guy, you know, in the 70s and so on. This was one of the guys that learned me when I was working the Honda Corse, learned me the job, you know, and it was a very, very rude guy, but extremely kindly when you know them, you know, the real mechanic of back in time. It was the one telling me, because he seen that I was not so much in love with the modern style, with the tourism cars and so on. I say, Paolo, you know, hold on, I was working Formula 1 in the 70s. You see this guy racing, maybe you salute the guy, goes out and he die, and because of you, that made a mistake in fixing something on his car. So you have to be extremely careful when you do this stuff. I learned a lot from him. It was Sandro was the name of this guy. It was very, very interesting to meet him. Nice book, you know. It's always pleasure and nice to read this stuff, you know. And it's also a kind of magazine that I will probably buy by my own if I didn't have the reason to buy it together with the car. But it was absolutely also that one. Also, I remember also this one, the Alfa Romeo. This way, remember, you know, always Bruno. You see, to see a pilot from Brescia, you know, even talking was. I remember it very well, and I remember really the name Jack O'Malley, you know. And also you see driving in 83, I think it was correct, yeah, 83. It was a 962. 83 could be a, yes, really. He stopped in 1983, and then this was a picture from 89, because they show this like Porsche 962, and in 1983 it was in 1956 the Porsche racing and so on, so it was later, you know. Very nice picture, very nice magazine. Absolutely something that it's worth to be collected, guys. It's worth to be found. I hope that also in the other countries you can find this item, because for me they are really improving the quality and making them nicer and nicer. This is stuff that until a few years ago was impossible to think that somebody made it in 1/24 scale, and there it is. Cost nothing, available for everybody, a decent quality, and is absolutely worth. Thanks for watching.